What's going on, y'all? Podcast 96, I believe. Hope everyone's doing well. It is Saturday, August 2nd. Welcome to August. Just left the sauna. Just left the gym. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. Kicking off the Saturday. Man, dropped a new song, Buck Hunter, out now. It's the second single off the new album. And yeah, man, it's definitely more of a fun, summery sort of vibe. Got a nice bounce to it, so yeah, man, go check it out. I've been listening to that Suicide Boys new album, Thy Kingdom Come. It's crazy. I've listened to it like 7 times now. Just feel like it's nice and short and sweet, to the point. It's got some different vibes on there than what they are used to, and definitely it's inspirational when a project like that gets released, and you just can't stop listening to it, because then you're like, damn, I gotta step my shit up, But man, I tell you what, man, recently I just feel like I've been I guess struggling in a way. And I don't want to make it seem like, I'm going back and forth with my emotions on these podcasts. Because one day it feels like, oh man, this dude's super happy, he's uplifted. And it's not that I'm not happy, it's not that I'm not uplifted and inspired to create, put work in. In fact, I think that's part of the struggle. That's part of the struggle, because I feel like I've tapped into this area of my life that I've never experienced before, where I'm so consistent, and don't, this isn't like an arrogant brag or me being cocky or anything like that. It's just the truth. I'm so consistent with bettering myself and focused on that. At the gym, with my mind, I'm getting there with my eating, with my work. I feel like I'm so consistent in all of those areas of just self-growth and development, that the people around me, including loved ones, they don't know how to react to that, if that makes any sense. They don't necessarily know what I'm going through, because they're not that way, and I kind of wonder, like, is that the guy, this is kind of corny, but is that how the guy felt when he took the path less traveled? Did he feel alone? Yeah, he's tapping into new environments of self-help and self-growth, and he's really focused on just being the best version of himself, but everyone around him isn't, and there's that saying with loved ones that goes, you have to meet people where they're at. Well, if you're in a spot that I'm trying to escape from, why should I have to keep going back to meet you where you're at if you're not willing to meet me where I'm at? And there's been multiple, this isn't just one person in my life, this is multiple people in my life right now. And it's lonely, man. It's lonely because they don't know what I'm going through. And I know what they're going through because that's where I came from. And here I am. I mean, not necessarily, but here I am screaming for them to catch up so they can be here with me and we can enjoy it together. But they don't want to hear it. They're scared of the journey. That they don't want to hear it. They don't want to meet me where I'm at. And again, this isn't a brag. This isn't me like saying, look at me, look how high up I am. It's just the fucking truth. You know, when you're overly focused on creating the best life for yourself and for your family, sometimes the people that you're creating it for are the ones that tear you down the most. And that is a bar. That is truth right there. The ones that you are trying to create a life for, and you're going through fucking hell for. You're going to war with yourself, with your mind, with your body, with your spirit. You're going to war for your people. Only for them to try to hold you back just so you can meet them where they're at. Call me selfish. Call me a fucking prick. I don't care. But I refuse to go back to where I'm at. Where I was at. I refuse. I'm not doing it. I've worked way too hard to get where I'm at now. And I put countless hours in to go back to a life that I escaped from. And if you got a problem with that, as a family member or as a friend of somebody who is putting in the work, if you got a problem with them putting the work in just because you can't keep up, you need to take a long look in the mirror. And it's tough, man, you know. And this isn't a knock to my friends and family, but this is this is just how I've been feeling, you know. The people that you work around, they don't understand. People at the gym, they don't really understand. You know, they see you every day. They see you every day, but they don't understand what's going on up here. They don't understand what's going on in here. And I just don't like being the guy like, hey, look at me, look at all the work I've done, look at all the books I've read, look at all the water I've drank, you know what I mean? I don't like to be that guy. But sometimes, man, I just feel like, damn, like, I just need a friend to talk to about it, you know? Who understands. You know, the hardest part about life, I swear, is just being lonely. It's like you want to relate to people, but you don't. You don't connect with them because you're just... If you connect with people, it's like you have to like stoop yourself to their level and bring yourself down to like connect with people. And I know that's not that's just a generalization. It's kind of just what I've been going through. I know that's not how it is. Because there are people out here that are doing more work than me, putting more work in. And I would love to have people like that in my life. I would love to. But if I'm being honest, I just don't. I don't. And I try to seek them out. like I've really put a focused effort in this year to really, really hone in on being the healthiest version of myself that I've ever been. And a lot of times I feel like I get punished for it. You know, it's like the world just don't understand. You know, there's so many distractions, there's so many things and people that want to try to like bring you down because they see you moving ahead, you know? It's wild, man. It's wild. And yeah, I guess that's what I've been going through. Sorry to be all dramatic and shit. You know, sometimes, you know, I've said it multiple times, like this podcast is a way for me to release, you know, my feelings and just kind of get out the shit that I feel like I need to talk about. You know, it would be nice to have somebody to talk to and listen to what I have to say, and I just don't have that all the time. I mean, there's a few people, but they're not always available, and honestly, it's not really their issue. I'm not going to meet somebody where they're at if they don't want to meet me where I'm at. You feel me? You know, because I've worked too hard to get where I'm at. I've worked too hard. And maybe that intimidates people. You know, maybe that scares people. And it most likely does, because I've been that person, intimidated by somebody moving on in my life. And that person, thankfully, I've recently reconnected with. You know? This person had to grow up fast. This person had to be a man real quick. And when we were younger, you know, freshly out of high school, I didn't understand that. So I was holding on to just being the version of myself that I was used to. Hanging on for dear life to a relationship that him and I had when we were kids. But he couldn't hang on anymore because he wasn't there anymore. He was elsewhere, being the best version he can be for him and his family. And now I'm that person. Now I'm that person. And the people, a few people that I'm close with, are hanging on to a relationship that we once had. They're hanging on to a relationship with a person that was half the person that I am today. And I can't hang on anymore. I can't. Because that version of me don't exist. That version of me is gone. And the more that I hang on to that version, the more it hurts me in my soul. much as it hurts, it's important to let go and stop resisting. That's the one thing we talked about on the last episode, is just resistance and how it causes, it's the main reason for your suffering in life. And as much as I've been resisting my old self, I'm at the point now where I have to let go. I'm just not that person anymore. I'm a new person. I'm changed. I've worked so hard to get to where I am. And like I said, multiple times, I'm not trying to be cocky, not trying to be arrogant, not trying to sound like a narcissist or anything like that. It's just the truth, man. It's just the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth isn't what others want to hear. Sometimes the truth is hard to accept, so you try to lie to yourself and make up excuses for yourself so you don't have to face it. Can't do it. Can't do it anymore. Truth is, I'm moving on. Truth is, I'm putting work in. And the truth is, if you're not willing to do the same for me or for yourself, then you're going to get left behind. That's the truth. That's the truth. Appreciate you letting me ramble for a few minutes. Sometimes these episodes, sometimes I don't, I say sometimes, all the time, I don't have any sort of plan or script or any bullshit like that. I just speak from the heart, and where my heart goes is where it goes. Sometimes it's upbeat, sometimes it's happy and joyful, and sometimes it's intense, sometimes it's dark. But either way, it's just straight from the heart, So I appreciate you tapping in with me. Appreciate you just letting me vent, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, man. Podcast episode 96. Much love. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.